Now I got a couple nails bent out of here. It actually did turn on before, and now it's not. Interesting. There is sediment, and this seems like ordinary. Whoa. There's a lot of weird shit in here. I'm sure this was a clean jar. But I did notice a lot of sediment and even corrosion. Oh yeah, she's stiffer than a bitch. Oh, she does try to move though. Looks like corrosion was our problem. And sediment. So this looks like a 3/8 fitting. I could probably slap some fuel line on. I had to cut this rubber off here. This looks like a one-time use deal. I can probably still come up with something. It's going to be a little fresh. I may need to get 2 sizes of fuel line, so.
You know what root beer is a 5 out of 5?
Your mom's root beer?
You know, that maple root beer.
Oh, that shit is good. A&W, fresh A&W, like from the barrel, that's the best root beer I've ever had. No joke. You only can get it at the A&W restaurants, and some of them don't even carry it.
Best root beer.
Okay, so this thing took fall damage. You can see these are popped out here. So this wasn't sitting right, and this was crooked, and that's why it was grinding. Apparently, this little peg in the center is supposed to be pushed through. I fixed the friction issues, and then the board died. I don't know why. So we have to make this work without the pump. I'll be taking the impeller off. I will be screwing this on here. There's a rubber check valve in here. I'm probably going to be removing that, so I don't have to worry about which way the water flows. And I'm going to just use this to contact heat the block. We're going to be cutting open both of these and using fuel line and splicing them together and running them out a single pump. And I may end up hooking an external radiator so I can do overclocking. Oh, because it would be nice to be able to overclock, but you can't overclock with these stupid sons of bitches. They're too shitty at cooling. There's no surface area. Alright, this is literally just the line, like, melted and crimped over here. Not something I could replicate unless this material shrinks when heated up, which I'm doubting it does. It probably just gets, like, plastic, floppy. So I could not reseal this, but I definitely could put some RTV. Oh, I better pick up some RTV. I could put some RTV around the outside and some hose clamps and fuel line that overlaps it. Get a good grip on there. Man, I just got to get barbed connectors. Oh, why am I shaking? Oh. These things I can actually fit over here as is, and I could still probably just slap a little RTV on it and hose clamp it and it would seal. Fuck, why am I shaking? And I'm going to reinvent the wheel. I have done homemade water setups before, and I use a I use a reservoir, so there is an expansion tank, and I can fill it up from the reservoir, and all the air bubbles get knocked into the reservoir. Because, you know what? Fucking, it's not much different than what a fucking car does. Except for there's a radiator cap, and that's more of an expansion tank, and my system's not going to be as aggressively sealed. I can do this shit way better. Alright, this should turn on for a second. Wasn't. Okay, let me push this button here. Looks like the rip line is where it came out of.
Coolant is coming out of the
rip line on the left?
Yeah.
Okay. I got this thing back open again because we're going to remove this rubber flap, which is acting as a check valve, I think. Wait, maybe it's not? Let me double check. Okay, that might not be a check valve. Yeah, I think it's just making so water flows from the center out to the edge through that. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I'll keep that intact and put it back together. We lost. I just had a warning saying to avoid overheating, do not record more than 10 minutes. Apparently 4K 60 frames a second is too hot for this bitch. But yeah, we lost one of the screws, and I just said fuck it and took one of the spare assembly screws for the stuff that kept my 3D printer still during shipping. This ain't perfect, and I accidentally hooked up something wrong, and I got this on here so good I can't get it back off without potentially breaking something, so I'm keeping it how it is. These are the outlets with the tape on them. So the way it's going to go, this is the only water pump we have. So this is going to be pooling water. So the water is going to come, from outside the case with this guy. I'm going to put a barb fitting on here that'll let me go to a hose. So it's going to come in here. It's going to pull the heat from this CPU. Hot one, going to go through radiator 1. Radiator 2, hopefully be decently cooled back down. Go into CPU 0. and then it's going to come out of here, and this is going to again connect to another barb fitting into a hose, which is going to exit outside the case. And we've got this big super puff duff bluff daddy here, which I'm going to have to go out to the truck or the car and get some pipe cutters to make these nice round openings that we're going to be using the hose clamps and connecting to for an inlet and outlet. This is going to be the main radiator. I got to wire this fan up. This should hopefully get us way better cooling than we ever had. And even if the system only has one pump, it should work better than it ever had. Cock. I haven't figured out the reservoir part, but there's going to be a reservoir up higher so all the air bubbles can be worked out of the system. And we don't have to worry about the lack of an... This is not going to be a sealed system that's going to be blowing itself apart like the fucking factory setup was. No. No, we're going to have an expansion chamber. Automotive figured this shit out in like, what, the 30s or 40s? Yeah, we can keep up with 1930s technology. Alright, this is my gun build box, and there's tons of miscellaneous nuts and bolts and other parts in here. Actually, I'm having trouble finding them. Okay, those are recoil springs, roller bearings. I'm having trouble finding the nuts. There might actually be some in there. I can find bolts all day long. Those are the wrong size nut, and where are the smaller ones? Alright, gotta find a head for it, because that did it. That was our bitch. So, yeah, we're back in action. I got everything right in... Don't mind me, just using my 3D printed high torque screwdriver with glow in the dark stripes built into the handle, so when I drop it, I don't lose it like these motherfucking screws. Alright. So yeah, take your screwdriver in here and just keep twisting it and pulling it out to get this an initial stretch. Then I'm going to slather RTV in here, cut up a piece of fuel line to overlap it, and kind of just smash it all together and get this on as much as I can, and use the put RTV around the fuel line as well, because we want as much sealing as we can get. Alright, so I did fuck up. Apparently I didn't buy Permatex Ultra Gray, I bought fuel resistant. Didn't really look at it. It looked like the Ultra Gray. Probably does the same job. Hell, it probably will resist the glycol better. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, and now I'm going to shove it on. I did my screwdriver expanding, and I'm going to have to clean my hands and start twisting and pulling this on so I can get it on further. That's as far as I got it. Not the end of the world. I got it over several barbs, so we should be making a seal, and I'm going to put a piece of fuel line over it to make sure we get a really good crimp around it. And like I said, I'm going to put more TV on than the fuel line. There's our little crimper. I really like the style I got here for this. Kind of a pain in the ass to get going for something like this in this tight space, but I mean, look at that. That's not going to really pinch it, and it's definitely not going to strip out. So, oh, and one more thing. RTV is actually activated by the moisture in the air. So this is a scenario where if you run your stuff through it while it's wet, it's just going to make it cure faster. I got to be careful with this stuff. This is much thinner than normal RTV though, so I'm definitely going to let it sit for quite a few hours. Probably not going to run water through this till the end of the day. So here comes the fun part. I've had to do this before in a tighter space, and I did it so I can do it here. I'm going to have to put these pliers around here and crimp it shut, then use this finger while crimping it shut to guide the screw in the hole, and then put the fucking flathead on the other side. Why is it a fucking flathead? And try to thread it on while guiding this into the hole and smashing it. This is a 3-hand job, and I'm going to do it with 2 hands again. I don't know if this RTV is better or worse, but this is the stickiest RTV I've ever seen. Sounds like a good thing with this application. Alright, I didn't have enough line to do this, but I got some old fuel line from the parts truck. I have to clean it out a little and cut the ends off. But this is ordinary rubber line on the inside. Alright, so I actually tried to drill this one out, and it kind of snagged my bit and ripped a lot of the line out. This one I was bending, trying to get room to put a fuel line on. It snapped off. So we're now going into this one here, because it would have went in here, looped out of this one, then into this one. And this one had a very big constriction on it, because you know condensers on a fridge. And so we had to bypass that one over here. Now I use this vibrosaw here, this drywall attachment, to smooth the stuff out, drill bits to make sure the inner side was rounded out. And we accidentally have our own barb here, but it's a little bit bigger than a fuel line diameter. I'm really going to have to fight it to put it on. But I wanted to make sure we had nice open stuff so we get good blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to run the radiator so it trickles down. So this is the exit line that would be dumping out. And I'm going to make it so it feeds into the top. And I'm going to have it so gravity will help pull it down so this pump has a little bit of assistance from gravity before it has to pump back up. Because there's a lot of stuff going on here. And I want it, you know, if water feeds in here and it'll just trickle to the bottom. Actually, it won't matter when the system's full, though. Won't matter at all. In fact, now I think about it, when a system's full, it would be better to do the opposite. So the water... Fuck, I don't know if there's enough line. There might be. I want this thing to be sitting about right here like this, because there's enough room for the fan to kick on, and there's a grill, and it'd pull the heat away from me. If I could find a radiator that was like twice as thick as this, and like long enough that I could actually put it in this entire space, I would put one down here, one up here, and just put Noctua fans in the middle and just make a fucking sandwich of cooling. And I could run it. I mean, that doesn't exist, but if it... Well, I'm sure there's probably a motorcycle or something that has a radiator like that. But then I could actually just run the lines through these fucking holes here. Well, I would have thought I'd be pouring fucking coolant into a computer, but here we are. Don't worry, I've already diluted it. I did not fucking make this be maybe removed. There was a slit in the side of my coolant container I didn't know about, and there's dirt and even a dead bug in here. Great. I can't use that. Fuck. I gotta dump this out and grab more coolant from the truck. So I basically made myself a little bottle harness here, so I should be able to just... Oh. Yeah, a little bit of effort on the backside, but I'll be able to slide this all out and use one zip tie to put it back together. Alright, see what happens. Hopefully this little fucker isn't being overdriven. I don't really see much going on. Maybe I got it backwards and it's sucking from the wrong side. Plus side, we're not spewing water, so that's a good thing. Alright, now it's submerged. Oh, I saw something flowing there. Come on, fire back up. I might have to install another pump to assist this thing. I have one that doesn't flow very... Oh, yeah. There's something moving there. It's at least trying to move something. Ow. Oh, fuck. That computer wants to fall out. There's my old setup, and this is my old pump. So, there we go. Pretty sure it's a self-priming pump, and it appears to be pretty dead. It won't, I can't even blow water into it. It's like something sealed up here, but this is cooler than access panel. That is not what I expected to see. I guess I don't know what I was expecting, but... Alright, so that's the pumping part. Oh, and that doesn't... I guess that's permanently attached. Alright. This must be a check valve. Maybe if I fill this with water, it'll start pumping. Okay, so there's a diaphragm and spring assembly in here, and there's a plastic plunger, and the spring is really rusty, and things aren't sealing, and I actually just... I cleaned everything up and put oil in it, and now this thing's working and it's auto priming. Wow. Yeah, as I thought, this thing will get her done. This thing may not flow a lot, but it sucks strong. I should probably pump all this water out actually, because it's dirty dishwater. Well, damn. That looks like a pretty good flow rate just running on this pump. Alright. What happens when we turn this on? Wait, I see leaking. Yeah, I found the problem. I had the fuel line actually... Oh, no. Is that dripping? So I did have the hose clamp slipped above. And that's why I don't like this pump. It's noisy. But the other pump just don't got enough balls. Actually, you know what? I have this going the wrong way. I have this pushing water into the system. An easier way to eliminate leaks is to make it where this is pulling water through the system, not pushing, because it'll be negative pressure instead of positive. Well, if I dropped the line, dumped a whole bunch on the floor, and had to run and unplug the wall because it immediately started smoking something back here. Ain't a good sign my power bar's on the floor. That's supposed to be on the desk up there. What the hell was smoking down here? Oh, just the cord to that fan. Yeah, cloth wrap cord and water's back. Penny, this is not something for you to kill. This is something you to get the fuck away from. Penny! Well, I guess I learned this lesson now. I could string this thing above the ground to make sure old cloth wrap cord doesn't burn the fucking house down if there's a leak springing. Alright, 200. Let's plug that in. Alright, I don't hear the pump running. There we go. Yeah. That might do her. On the fun side, oh, actually, I gotta clear up Nathan's area. I like this keyboard I built for him. Anyways, his system kept overheating, and I could not figure out why. It's the old HP Z800. I thought it was the GPU, because it was always during really graphically intense shit when it would crash. I swapped it out for a 480, and it did it while the Metro Last Light benchmark was loading. But I noticed this was ungodly hot. The South Bridge chipset. Or is that the North Bridge? Part of the chipset. Well, I took this big fan and just kind of pushed it off over here so it would blow air in there. It felt like a space heater coming off over here my finger is, and the system's been completely stable ever since. Also, fucking dicks. Man, I can feel heat radiating out of here. I'm running the CPU in a hard push right now. 4.2 gigahertz. Boy, if I get this fan going, I gotta wire it up, but I also need to do something better than that. Well, these new numbers I can overclock to make for some new records I've never hit. I gotta get a variac in this thing. I have a spare variac. I don't really want to get in higher speed than that. I don't think we need that much. A little bit of overkill. We're kind of loud. Alright, let's see. CPU zeros, using a hot one, we're at 129. Let's plug up Big Boy, see what it does. I had a bit of a clog. I had to purge the whole system. We're now going for a larger thermal mass. So yeah, this will take longer to pull off, but there's all kinds of sediment and gross stuff in here. I was pumping soapy water through. I'm just going to run straight water and probably dump this like every week. Water has more thermal cooling anyways, and I think all the corrosion that was inside those pipes got knocked out. Hot. Even though the air here is coming out way faster, it actually still feels about as hot as... no, this air does feel hotter, but... This is quite substantial heat, and this is probably going to make that thermostat go up higher. This system was filled with just under boiling water. But there was actually off, and I was flushing it through both directions, reversing pump directions to knock all the crud out, got my flow rate back up. Oh, I feel it cooling off. We're at 116 Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's pretty chill actually. Alright, it definitely ain't pretty, but we got more thermal mass. And now it's filled with cold water. We got cool air coming out here. It's tap water. Filled with tap water. Yeah, she running really cool now. Nice. It's running cooler than the room is. You just got hot. Not big surprise. You see that? 4.56. I have turbo enabled, and then it actually works while overclocking. Jesus Christ! Oh, fuck! And that's what less clocks than I had last night. Turbo made a big impact. My highest score ever was 32,000. If I had more cooling, I could go further. That's crazy. Oh, fuck you. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, good. She has underwear on. I thought this was not going to be able to go in YouTube's. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, man. I'm going to come. Where's the fucking house, Nathan?
You destroyed it.
Oh my god! But she's still there! Oh my god, the fucking stove! Oh, where'd the couch go? There's nothing left, it's all gone!